Welcome to the DraftKings running back analysis for week 12. I'm Jason Gilbo, JGilbo11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Looking at main slate running backs, so not going to be talking about Le'Veon Bell or any other Ezekiel Elliott. We're talking about main slate guys.
Kris Kringle?
Well, we're not quite there yet. All right, we usually kind of banter on about something.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you know how I just said, so folks, today I was going to deal with one headphone, but if I stay in this exact spot and hold this, my headphones in the exact right spot, I can hear through both ears. Life's really good right now when that's happening. You don't know how bad life is until you only have one headphone working.
It's true. It's first world problems here.
Yeah. So before we get into anything, I just wanted to say, I hope all your holidays go terrible. Yeah, so bad holidays to everyone, and I hope we win at DFS though.
Quick question. Yeah, if we're sacrificing something, it's bad holidays for a good DFS week.
Yes.
But quick question. I mean, when should Christmas start for you? When should people put up their stuff?
Christmas is when we start revving up to actually be excited about a holiday.
No, but when should it start? I feel like it starts way too early.
I like the earlier the better, as far as I'm concerned.
You're the worst. You are the worst. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, get Christmas going. I want Christmas to be going before Thanksgiving.
Oh, it's
so we can just trample. So we can have a wheelbarrow and just trample over Thanksgiving.
I mean, it's like
straight to the important one.
It's crossing into Halloween, to be honest. Like we're reaching a point where it's going to be just a 3-month season.
I want a steamroller just going over all these other mediocre holidays.
I'm sorry, December 1st to December 25th. That's my span.
Whatever.
Call me Scrooge, whatever. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. Cash game running backs. Let's go. David Johnson, You're looking at here at Atlanta. I mean, show last week, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be really low owned. Not many people know about this guy. So, you'll just take that 3 to 5% ownership and run with it, because it's weird. Like, this guy gets 30 fantasy points a week and just nobody's talking about him,
No, they rostered the other David Johnson, the tight end for Pittsburgh.
I did see someone did do that. I forget who posted the screenshot. Someone literally did in a head-to-head. So that's something. But yeah, obviously joking about David Johnson. He's going to be super high owned. Atlanta's run defense sucks. Carson Palmer, just doesn't have the O-line to throw deep like he did last year. They just grind it out, give David Johnson 20 to 25 carries a game, dump it off to him 5, 6, 7 times a game, and he just ends up with 150 or more total yards per game. So, I mean, I don't care what price he is. If he was 9,500, I'd still be looking at him. He's more of a lock to me than Antonio Brown was this time last year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And then moving down, the food chain here, $1,900 difference, but $7K is a really nice price for Melvin Gordon, who's just a workhorse of a back right now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even you tried to transition from David Johnson to Melvin Gordon. I don't want to do that to Melvin Gordon. Like, I don't want to compare him. Like, he's not even close. David Johnson's got a better chance of hitting value than Melvin. But I just think at $7K for a guy who's going to get 20 to 25 touches, he's in a really good spot. Houston's run D isn't that great. Again, Phillip Rivers just knows how to maneuver his body down the field. Paper form. Melvin Gordon red zone touches going to happen again. So let's keep it rolling.
I mean, that's the thing you can bank on. I mean, you and I have been in a discussion over the last few weeks of the running back touches and workhorse backs that we've seen this year is just it's from like an era that was like 6-7 years ago when we had like all these guys like LaDainian Tomlinson, Larry Johnson. Like, we're kind of at an era in fantasy football where we're back to that. And
it's just going to keep getting better. There's going to be 2 more amazing running back classes coming in the next 2 years. And I am just so I just want running backs back, and we're getting them.
Oh, dude, they're back. They're back. The
Yes.
addition of
David
Elliott.
Johnson and Zeke Elliott, barring Zeke Elliott having troubles off the field, they're going to be, for the next 3 to 5 years at least. And it's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. GPP running backs here, we take a dive down in price. Obviously, this has a factor of pricing mixed with Giovanni Bernard being out.
Yeah, and AJ Green. Obviously, we're talking about Jeremy Hill. They just don't have that many weapons, and we talk about peeling back the onion of depth charts, early in the year when Odell Beckham kind of got banged up for like a week there. You were like, Jesus, what do they have behind him? What do the Bengals really have behind AJ Green? Because, it's easy to have secondary options that look good when AJ Green's out there being an all-pro. When they become prominent pieces and you're giving Brandon LaFell 8 to 10 targets a week, things tend to change quickly in that respect, and he's getting number one corners. I think they're going to try to run the ball. I don't know how successful they're going to be, but I think Jeremy Hill's going to get 15 to 20 rushes. And I also think he's going to be in on third downs like he was 2 years ago, when Gio Bernard was injured. I think he is pretty good receiving the ball based on what we've seen. So I have no reasoning to why he wouldn't get 20 to 25 touches. There's nobody behind him. They have Tyler Eifert and they have Tyler Boyd, but I mean that's really it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think, what are you ultimately looking for out of Hill here? Would a reasonable ceiling be 80 combined yards and a touchdown?
I want 14.
14 touchdowns.
14 points. 14 points. So if I can get 60 rushing yards and 4 catches for 30 yards, so that's really all I need from him. I think he can get that 2 to 4 receptions, which obviously boosts his value even more. If he can do that, I think we're looking at a really solid floor here. And obviously that touchdown upside is there with him because he's going to get all those touches now.
Yeah, certainly. Transitioning into Jay Ajayi here, taking on San Francisco. You have him listed as a GPP play.
I mean, he's a cash game guy. I just like Melvin slightly more just because I just think the guaranteed receptions is basically like 8 to 10 points a game for Melvin. So, even in Ajayi's, 200-yard rushing games, we didn't really see much passing game. He is a good receiver, but they don't use him like that right now. So, obviously facing San Fran, he's a cash game guy. I should have put him in cash game just as a third one, but yeah,
GPP upside. It's
huge upside.
Yeah, it's one of those plays where
go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I feel like one of these, these guys here we talk about, and it's like the contrarian move for running backs hasn't really been the case this year. Like, I don't care about ownership when rostering these high upside backs. If David Johnson goes for 30 points and he's going to be 60% owned in GPPs, I don't care. He's a GPP winning running back, and that's the same thing with Ajayi.
Yeah, Ajayi, I honestly think 150 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns is in his range of outcomes. So that's 31 points right there. So I really think that's plausible. Kind of like with Blount last week. Obviously it didn't hit, but he got a 36-yard rushing touchdown taken away. If not for that, he had 150 yards and a touchdown, keeping with the trend. If Jacquizz Rodgers can get 150 rushing yards, then pretty much can come in and have 150 rushing yards, Darvin Ham, that's a great reference.
And the one thing I like, not that $600 is a monster difference, but Melvin Gordon is still $600 cheaper.
You know who Darvin Ham is?
No, I just didn't want to just go into that.
Oh, okay. He's a 6'7" small forward from back in the day. He used to play for the Bucks.
Why would I even? I forgot who was the guy that you brought. It was during baseball season. you brought up someone.
Oh,
It was someone for the Jazz, I believe.
oh boy, I don't know.
That's
Greg
that's possible.
Ostertag?
No, but let's move on.
Okay.
Thomas
Jeff
Rawls.
Hornacek?
No, it wasn't
Oh,
anyone that was well known.
mm,
But Thomas
mm.
Rawls, 5,700 on the road at Tampa, and you have him listed
Sneaky.
at value.
Sneaky. Super sneaky. I think everyone's going to be on, um, this Russell Wilson in week after 3 weeks of him showing out in the passing game. Thomas Rawls obviously back and falls into a feature role again. And, without CJ Procise there, I think they're going to run a lot. I could see 15 to 20 carries. And at 5,700 against this Tampa defense, I see 20 to 25 fantasy point upside at 5,700. That's a huge boost. I don't think he's going to be that high owned because of the concerns of him coming back. And Russell Wilson, everyone's going to be wanting to own the Wilson Graham Baldwin stack, and they're not going to want to put Rawls in there as well. I would highly suggest that if you want to go four players. I think Jason's smiling like that's not a good suggestion. It's called an onslaught, Jason. Get with the days and the terms of DFS.
I'm smiling because the person that you're referring to has been me. I've been talking about Baldwin, Wilson, Graham all week, and I'm not really looking at Rawls, and I think you're referring to me as that person. So I'm the example.
I'm not at all. I'm referring to Russell Wilson being 5% the last 3 weeks. And now this is when the ownership boost is going to happen. I think it could be a week to target Rawls and maybe hope for some rushing production in a contrarian way. And that's kind of why I put him in the value, because I think it's more of a contrarian move than anything else. But I do think there's some value in the lack of ownership that's going to be there.
Yeah, I agree. I think in terms of a low play with some upside, and I think Seattle, I think Vegas gives them a little bit of a downgrade. Traveling across country, because I think that the team total is fairly mediocre. I think it's the 7th or 8th highest on the slate. So it's not particularly eye-popping, but I think with the way they have been playing, there will be some ownership between those three names. And Rawls is probably going to be 4th on that list in terms of where they rank.
I mean, and let me be clear, I'm all in on Wilson. He's my top, one of my top quarterback plays this week. I'm all in on Baldwin, all in on Graham. I'm just saying, I think because we all kind of want to stack that trio. I don't think people are going to want to put Rawls in there, because that kind of means things didn't go perfectly for that Baldwin Graham stack,
I think so, and I think that's true. And I mean, we could ultimately see just Tampa collapse in terms of the defensive game. It's certainly possible. I mean, we saw with Oakland. I mean, Oakland put up a good amount of points. I mean, they're not a good defense.
No, they're not. They're not a good defense. So I think it's an interesting way to go.
Yeah. Any other takes you want to give on just life, Thanksgiving, football before we head out here?
Get your haircuts, although it's probably too late now. I got mine yesterday. Feels good. Feel like a new man, and so back to not ever doing my hair. Instead of once a month, maybe once every 3 months.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
I mean, that's a reasonable outcome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's going to wrap things up with the DraftKings running back analysis for week 12. If you want to check out this article,
and hold on, shout out to me for powering through this pod with only one headphone. I mean, I am an absolute warrior.
Well, we're gonna get a half-ass outro here because you interrupted me. So head on over to defensecafe.com, check out our content.